recording. Hi everyone, welcome to the next Slovenia Esports and Gaming Meetup. This month I have the pleasure of having with me Leonardo Bujas from Esports Adria organization, who you will get to know throughout this hour of thorough questions, interrogations, torture him going back 15 to 20 years into his childhood nearly, right, Leonardo?
Yes. I'm happy to bring those memories again.
We'll see, great. And just to repeat a little bit what these meetups are about, the point is it's a monthly format of hanging out people who are interested into the esports and gaming industry. So the point of these meetups is, first of all, to get to know each other. Second of all, to learn new stuff, learn how this industry operates, learn who in this industry has been successful, what were the challenges that they faced, how did they overcome them. So in this case, in such case, we invite speakers from known organizations, known companies that share with us their experiences, their stories. The meetup is following a red line of how to build your own esports organization. We started a couple months ago overviewing the industry, overviewing the trends. We discussed in the previous month how you can make money in this industry. And now last month and this month, we are looking at case studies of successful stories of people who already walked this path and try to squeeze as much knowledge from them as possible. My name is Leonardo Bujas. I'm the CEO of Reveris. We are in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, an accelerator that is supporting, augmenting any ideas, any startups that are targeting the video game industry. So we're talking about esports organizations, we're talking about video game developers, we're talking about digital products, digital platforms. If you have anything in this scope, you can come to us and we'll discuss about it. For this month, we will be talking about a story that started as a team of players. Leonardo will be able to tell us much more about it, and ended up, or I would say, no, my mistake, it didn't end up. It's only properly boosting and growing up. In last year, they actually managed to secure an investment. And I will be very happy to hear the story of Leonardo, how he managed to achieve such a win. A bit of a background on about him, and then I'll give him the honors to present himself. 34-year-old guy in the IT industry. We have the same age, so pretty much aligned mindset, and grew up with the same, I guess, games and environment. A DevOps guy in the IT industry, ex-Counter-Strike player, competitive player from Croatia, the CEO and the founder of Esport Adria, and the project manager of A1 Adria League. He will be explaining us what this is about. Very brief intro from my end. Leonardo, please tell us a little bit about you.
Hi everyone, thank you Tom for the introduction. Yeah, so like Tom already said, 34 years old guy, worked as a backend developer for a long time, and now I'm shifting back to the DevOps, server administration, scripts and stuff like this. And yeah, it all began like, I guess, or at least I hope that all of or many other stories began like that. I began as a player. I tried my best, playing Counter-Strike, and at the time I thought that I was good, but as the time passed, I realized that it's not my time anymore. So I kind of switched to. I always had some mindset going forward towards the organizational part. I started, also learning as I went on to college. I started learning website stuff and that, and this way I was able to help a local organization in Croatia to build their own community. And after I realized that the only way to go to the tournament is by organizing it, I switched fully to organizational stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much the story up until a few years ago, when we started thinking more of a more how to expand or how to do things better, not just stay local or I don't know, for one city or one country, but to go regional. And then we started expanding, and now we are a company and an association. Like you already said, we found the investor like year and a half before, and it's not the end. It's just the proper start, like you already said in the announcement. Yeah.
Could you maybe outline in 2-3 sentences to those who don't know Esport Adria what this is?
It's a 15 people that has the same goal. That was from a start to build a community where all of the players and team would come and establish themselves, to build tournaments and events for them. And now it's an organization that's practically doing everything from organizational stuff to content to tournaments every few weeks and stuff like this. So it's basically esport organization for events and
content generation.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't have, just to make clear, you don't have professional teams. You are organizing events and creating content.
Yes, no teams like players for some game and stuff like this. It's just the organizational stuff.
And we'll come back to that later. Thank you for the introduction. At this point, I would also like to welcome again those who joined us now. I would kindly invite you, anyone who feels, to turn on your cameras. It's so nice to look at faces instead of blank pages and see your weird reactions when we talk nonsense. So kindly invited to turn on the cameras, and also kindly invited anytime you wish to post questions in the chat. Not only in the chat, you can raise your hand, you can open the camera, you can just make us, Sebastian, you can just jump in the debate, bring your point of view on any topic we'll be discussing. So really welcome to join the discussion. Okay, thanks, Leonardo, for the intro. I will jump now in the I have a set of topics kind of to cover. I'm mostly interested in your business path, okay, and what drove the decisions that you made. I would guess some decisions are, I don't know, a bit gut. A lot of is gut feeling, but usually there are some let's say causes that drive your gut feeling decisions. So maybe going back, how many years? 15 years? More than 15 years when you started?
More than 15 years, yeah. I guess it was in early 2000 when I first started contributing to the local CS community. At that time, there was just the forum and the website, and there was this guy that started everything. There was a domain on cs.gamerhire where we run everything, and it started early 2000, and then I think that I took over everything, at least from the business side, from 2005, and from that time until today I changed some of my closest colleagues. Some of them are now working full-time in other companies, and some of them are still here today with me, and I see some of them are in the chat. So thank you for sticking with me. And
it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Now we're just beginning. But tell me, when you started, okay? Because we are working with a lot of young, passionate, motivated people, individuals who are starting just now, or maybe started a year ago or 2 years ago. So they are now in the shoes you were in 15 or more years ago. How far in the future were you thinking back then? What was the thing that you want to build? Was it just, I don't know, day-to-day passion, or you already had in mind something? What was that?
you know, since I started as a player, and I played a lot of regional leagues and tournaments, and there was every time there was something missing. You know, it was either we had bad computers, or we had some troubles with coming to the event and back, and I never was 100% satisfied with how the events, you know, like from the gamer's perspective, for me it was always the experience that you get from such events. And from the start, I was like, okay, I will try to fix things that I see that other people do wrong. And yeah, so after I finished my college, I realized that in order to compete, I have to be, you know, I have to invest like 20 or even 30% more time to compete with the best players. And you know, time is something that I didn't have at the time, since I had already a full-time job. So yeah, I had to switch and do something regarding that. And yeah, at the start it was just, you know, small things, trying to organize some monthly or weekly cups where players would go out satisfied, you know, not just to get the hate out of them, but to make them feel like they belong somewhere, like they have a place to come and play. And it all started from this point on.
From passion and from wanting to contribute to the community.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, by doing this, I also got, you know, a lot of other people got interested in this. At the start, it was hard because, you know, one person doing everything is not always a good place or a good start. So actually, one guy contacted me and said, I want to write something, I want to contribute something, will you allow me to help you? And him and one other guy joined me at the time. I think it was maybe 2000 and I'm not sure, early 2010, something like this. And yeah, we started doing more content, we started doing even more stuff. And he's now a very known person in CSGO community. He's a writer for hltv.org. And, you know, so like the path was to contribute, to do something for the community, and people respected that. People saw that as a good thing, and they joined me, and most of them stayed with us.
With you. Not just the close team, but also the fans, the community built around it. Great. So the main driver was doing for the community. What were you expecting to become out of this? Did you expect, or did you plan for this to stay a hobby forever, or until, I don't know, it would? What was the real expectation? I guess there were some costs also involved with this. I guess you were getting sponsors, this to cover some of the stuff. Can you maybe cover this aspect? How long did you think this will last, or was just from day to day, or was maybe one day I can make a living out of this?
Yeah. So back to the part where I was still trying to play and alone. Yeah. I always thought that, okay, maybe this or in the next 2 years, since I already watched a lot of international tournaments and stuff like this, I always thought, okay, you know, Croatia is a bit slower and it will come to us at some point. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's 2 years. And I've been saying this to myself for the last 10 years. And I always plan for, I don't know, for 2 years, and I always give myself some time to, you know, to properly do some stuff, because you can't do the stuff on the, I would say nobody does it right from the first time. You have to try something, then pivot, then change some other stuff. And yeah, it was always like this. And the first rebranding that we had, first we were called Counter-Strike HR community, HR for Croatia, Hrvatska, and then we saw that okay, we will not grow any bigger if we do just tournaments for Croatia. Let's try to aim for regional teams, and then we expanded to CS Adria for the Adriatic region, and I also gave that project 2 years, but it grew, and I think the biggest and most important expansion was at that time we were called CS Adria, and yeah, so it was like always a plan to do some stuff or projects for some time and see how those go. And like you said, it was always money involved, and most of the stuff that we did, we had to cover for ourselves. Events, we would find some sponsors that would sponsor, prize money, but then you have like 10 or more people who work on this project every day, and it's hard to keep the motivation level when it's all volunteering for a long time. So that's something that I always had in mind the most.
Mm-hmm. Then you decided to go wider, to grow bigger, and okay, why this? You make it sound so easy, Yeah, we're just doing Croatia, and then we decide we'll go Adria. No problem, and we will become the biggest in the Adriatic region. Yeah, you do it like this. How did you go about this? I mean, strategy, planning, contacts, partners. How did you approach this problem of expanding?
We had a good a community in Split where I went back after I finished my college in Zagreb. I went back for a few years to Split, and there was a lot of players there, and we gathered. I think maybe on a monthly basis we would gather at a cafe, and then we would think about stuff. And most of these ideas came after a few beers. So it did sound easy at the time, but when you start planning, then you see that it's not just what you thought that it is, and it sounds kind of easy, and it came. I guess we planned, or we were at the right place at the right time, because at that time in Croatia there was maybe one or even zero organizations who did the same thing. So we had the luck to be there and to, I guess, be the only one that's doing this. And it wasn't always so easy, when you said you need to find sponsors, it's all a lot of negotiations and talks and presentations and trips and stuff like this. So we planned event by event. I know it's not the best approach, and I know that now, but we planned like this, and we grew with each event. We grew bigger, and it brought us here to the investor part, which was already also part luck, because they actually approached us. We weren't seeking for this kind of growth so fast, but they saw the potential. We got connected over a friend, and then after a few meetings and talks about the future, we secured this. So it sounds easy, yeah, but it took like 5+ years to get there.
Actually, it took 5 years to become Adria, CS Adria, to become Esport
Adria, yeah.
Right, but it took even 5 to 10 more years of experience and trying and hustling and struggling, first on one end, then on the other end, then you as an individual, then getting the people around you. Okay.
Yeah, good. I guess. Sorry.
No, go.
I guess most of our experience we got from while we were working with before CS Adria and after we became CS Adria, we worked, or at least I started working. I'm now, I think, 10 plus years admin on ESL. So we started working on their tournaments and their leagues, helping them out. And we got some experience there. Also, a lot of my friends that work, I've brought them there and we worked together there. So we kind of, we had some, you know, yes, and that's what helped us to grow.
Yeah, but you built this connection. So is it, I would say, random that you worked as an admin at ESL, or was this, you know, how did you come to do that?
It was I know the year, it was 2007, and I was helping a friend to organize World Cyber Games Croatia qualifier in one city near Zagreb, Velika Gorica, and I was just, you know, helping them to accommodate teams, talk with them when somebody should play and stuff like this. And then I saw, okay, I can do more than this. And I asked them if there is something that I can help them with. They helped me because at that time they were also working with ESL. And then they connected me with the guys there. I, you know, had access to a lot of knowledge there, a knowledge base from ESL, and I started building from that.
Great. Okay, good. Quite some path. I think if I recap a little bit, so it's building from event to event, let's say a little bit stage by stage, growing bigger with each one, and for each one approaching tons of sponsors, negotiating deals, getting in the money that you can sustain yourself for the next event. But you build a strong network already in the years before starting with CS Adria. Within ESL, and the community that you had was also strong, you said, in Split, and they supported this.
Yeah. So at that time in Croatia, I guess not a lot of people have heard about esports gaming at all. So it was hard, you know, to approach some sponsor and explain to him or to them what can you offer them and how would it benefit them in their business. So it was a lot of, you know, emails back and forth, and that's why you couldn't find, you know, some stable money flow or some sponsor that would, you know, sponsor you for a few events. But my mindset was always be transparent about everything and always be nice to people and have like a good friendship with everybody, because if you're good to somebody, you help him with, I don't know, you help him set up a server for his tournament, then he will surely help you when you need something from your side. And if not, then at least you know that you gave the best out of you. So it's, you know, always
you can sleep well overnight.
Yeah, if anything, yeah.
I will go with a little bit of a provocative question, or maybe not, because you gave me the idea. If it's let's say delicate, you can avoid it. But you said it's hard to keep sponsors for more than a few events. Okay, so why is the reason that you can't keep a sponsor, like a regular sponsor? Why do you have to hunt for new ones constantly?
I guess it's partly was because of the, like I already said, they were not aware of the possibilities in the industry here, and then you would.
Yeah, but so they did, let's say, the first time they went with you, and then what? They did not get the results they were expecting. They had overinflated expectations, or they really didn't get it what they were signing for because they didn't know the industry.
No, I at least I hope if anybody from our sponsors will listen to this, I hope that we delivered everything that we always signed, but
promised.
Yeah, signed and promised. But I'm not really sure on how to answer this question, because yeah, we always search for we need funding for this event. We never search for, you know, the sponsor that would fund us for, let's say, creating some content over the year and stuff like this. So it was never this kind of a deal with us. And I guess partly this was like this because we never had a legal company that we would that would, you know, sign these contracts, and not a lot of companies wants to work with associations or
you had to do it project by project, and you had to sign deals project by project. You couldn't do it in exactly. So maybe on this point, it might be worth investing in a company if you can then make a story sustainable, which enables you a more long-term relationship with a sponsor, at least on paper, legally.
That's true. And yeah, all of our sponsors that we now have, that we work on a regular basis, we have the contracts which are always for a longer time, let's say 6 months plus, and we agree on minimum stuff that we have to do, and then we go from there and build even more. So from that perspective, yeah, it was important for us to get a company or a legal name to do everything on the right way, and it started properly, I guess, 2 years or a year and a half back.
Thanks for sharing this with us. It was a difficult question.
It's not that we, you know, it's not that we scam people, or at least I hope so. Nobody is writing anything, so I'm good. I will sleep
exactly
today.
I don't think you could claim this out loud if this was the case.
I think that the only thing that I always kept in mind is that once your name goes out and your you know, people know that you did something, and if you scammed somebody, other people will know it, and you will never get another job in the industry because it's so small, especially in the Croatia. If you work with one company and you don't deliver, or you fake and deliver less and stuff like this, then you will not get another deal.
You're done. Yeah. And I will echo this. It's my experience. It's not just Croatia. It's worldwide. Whenever you want to launch something, even if it's local market or regional or global market, you're usually addressing a niche, and this niche is a certain number of people. And when you raise to the top of this certain number of people, it's usually a couple of hundred people who know each other, all of them. They all know each other. You know, you do scam, or you do, let's say, don't deliver on some exaggerated expectations, you're done. You're basically done. You know, so you should keep up with the transparency, the honesty, the open communication and relationship, like you, Leonardo, said earlier. Pretty well said, really well said. Okay, great. Look, next question. We were quite thorough with this one. So 15 plus years of experience. In your opinion, in your mind, what is the key factor, the key thing that made this possible? Is it, I don't know, the mindset of the core team involved, that being you and your close partners? Is it the skills that you build gradually? Is it just, I don't know, luck? Is it sequences of good decisions, education, connections? What do you think is the key factor or key factors?
I would say that it was, you know, part luck and part of, you know, I always had a good, or I hope I had good people skills, and I would always be friendly towards everyone. So I always kept this mindset that if you have good team around you, that anything is possible. And by doing this, we all had the same goal, you know. And like I already said in the question before, I was transparent about everything, and especially what people want to know about finances. We were always transparent about this, and yeah, I would say that the mindset and the right people around you, that's the most important stuff, and this helped me to get here. Sometimes I even question myself, or how did I get here? Well, how did I deserve these people to be with me? But last year we had probably a beer or more too much than we were supposed to, and then they explained to me that I am actually the glue that keeps them together, and if I weren't around, that it's possible that we would never come there. So I thank them every day for this, not vocally, but in my mind. And yeah, so I guess mindset and smart planning and a bit of luck. There is always a luck factor there.
You see, you started with luck first, and then you nicely elaborated on all the things that are not luck, and you ended a bit of luck at the
end. Yeah, I guess the lucky part is that we were, building the CS community, and we were probably the only ones that did it. And when A1 Adria League started, and they needed a community who will do Counter-Strike, they immediately came to us, and they knew who to pick. So it was
on the right place at the right time. But look, you built this let's say fame, the name. They knew about you, otherwise they couldn't get to you.
Yeah, I would like to say that I planned this 10 years ago, but
you predicted their decisions. Yeah. But anyhow, you know how looking at the best stories anywhere, there is always a bit of luck involved, of course. But we call this more, let's say, academically, serendipity. Serendipity is right, the chances of being lucky, and we can increase these chances. We can increase our luck factor. If exactly you stick to the things that you were emphasizing earlier, be friends, be transparent, have good leadership, have a glue that sticks together, have a team that has the right mindset. All this increases your chances of succeeding. And also the kind of we hear sometimes, yeah, he got there because of connections. He had to build those connections somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it takes effort to build connections. It takes effort to build trust. And it looks like you had the right trust from the A1 Adria League when they had to find someone to help them with organizing the scene.
Yeah. I guess it all grew up in 2 years maybe. When they first started, most of our people worked as just low-level admins that were doing matches and servers and stuff like this. And then as the time passed on, they saw that there is a more potential in us to give them more responsibilities. And then I became game head for CSGO, which involved a lot of decision making and rules and stuff like this. And after that, when A1 was parting ways with ESL, I would say that it was luck, but it was not luck that I was there at the time, because I allowed them, or them. I will rephrase this. I knew that ESL needed me to be there in order to keep the connection with A1, going. And when the contract expired, I was logically the guy to go after. And I knew that at some point when this contract expires, if I do everything right, if I do everything like it was supposed to be done, I have Yeah, I've
secure.
not to say that I will secure it, but at least I will have the possibility to secure it.
Yeah, high chance. I mean, good chances of securing it. Yeah. Okay, good, good.
And
We
that's how I
already
became a project manager for A1 Adria League.
officially, yeah.
Mhm.
We already covered, we touched a few points on what were the challenges along the way. Okay, the first one being you just not skilled enough to be a competitive player. You went to cry home and then you decided to be an organizer. teasing you, teasing you a little bit, yeah. But if you would have to pick one challenge, okay, we mentioned earlier, if you don't have a legal entity, you have to search for sponsors for every event separately. But if you were to pick one key challenge or one moment on your path that you thought everything was going haywire and was on the brink, if are we going to continue or not, what would you pick?
Other than the lack of money, I would say the biggest challenge that I faced was if I'm good enough to be the CEO of a company, or how, you know, since I was always a friend with, and I'm still the friend with all of our people, it was hard to switch from being a good friend to, you know, boss somebody, not the boss in a bad way, but, you know, still when a hobby becomes a job, it's a different story. And some other and when investors are, you know, included, then you have to deliver then you have to deliver, and then you have to sometimes be a boss that delivers even the bad news. Yeah,
even the bad news.
And yeah, I guess for me it was always, if I'm good for the role, and I hope that I will be even better.
Great. Actually, I really like your answer. You totally surprised me. I wasn't expecting that you would turn one of the key challenges on personal, let's say, characteristics. So traits. You know, it's a skill. Being a good CEO, being a good leader is a skill. It's not that you're born with it. Some are more inclined, some less, but it's a skill that you build. But especially this relationship, when things become strict, less strict, when there is responsibility, where is friendship, and all this starts to mix up, it's again a skill, being able to keep all this running in parallel and swap hats when you need to swap hats.
Yeah, I started reading again, you know, like I don't know, it's not my, I didn't read for a very long time, and then we started with all of this, and I had to, you know, learn how to work with people and how to listen to the people more, how to listen to everybody. And of course there is a business side of the story where you need to learn all of the legal stuff on how, not all, but at least the stuff that you need to learn about building a company. So I guess with the help, or at least some help, of the stuff that I read, and partly it's already a year and a half then that I got some experience by doing this, I guess that we are overcoming this. But yeah, it was like since I guess since we secured the investment, the money was not a problem anymore. It was, you know, something that we weren't bothering anymore with. But then, you know, that this other challenge or challenges popped up.
Yeah, and this is quite recent challenge. So it's something that you are exploring, discovering now. It's not that you had the opportunity 10 years ago.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, I like it, and it shows. To recap a little bit, it shows the importance. The challenges don't arise always from around you. They can arise from your inner self. It's not made out of thin air. When there is a lot of, you know, coaching, training sessions for CEOs, for leaders, for managing people, this stuff is real. It's hard. It can be hard on yourself. It can be stressful. It can make you doubt in yourself. You know, the imposter syndrome and all these kind of syndromes come come out. So if you don't know about this, Google it, because it's a very typical trait of the Balkan region.
Yeah, I had a a hard period where I couldn't sleep very well because I would always think about what do we have to pay, who do we owe money, where to go from this point on. Okay, we did this event. What's next for us? I was overthinking each night, and it cost me such for a long time. And like you said, it can become a problem, but I hope that it's
there are techniques, maybe for others out there. There are techniques how you can mitigate this and alleviate this. It's not that you're left to yourself. So hope that, Leonardo, that you found some techniques that can help you. Say you started reading again. For example, I started to meditate. I went through similar situations and I started to meditate, and it helps. It actually helps. There is science behind it.
Yes, like you said, I started reading, and I started shutting down everything, like phone, laptop, and everything at the night, so that nothing comes to my mind. I do the full-time job, and then you do this as a side job, which takes the same time like your full-time job, and then when you go to sleep, everything just my mind was rushing, and I had to do something to ease it down. And yeah, it was, for me, it was dividing from technology and started reading. I mean, I'm reading on Kindle, but but there is no blue light, and it helps me. It helps me calm my mind.
Yeah. Great.
For now.
Maybe we'll continue this at another meetup and just dive into the intricacies of an individual mind and how it is to bear responsibility. We will call you back and you will share with us what helped you. We have a question in chat. It's actually also on my list, so I will just jump directly to it. You also mentioned, okay, you think about who you have to pay. One event ends, you have to think about the next event. You have to think about the people that are on your payroll. You have to think about finances and all this kind of stuff. So the question in chat is, for the viewers, where would you like to be with Esport Adria in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What are your long-term plans? And I had a very similar question, so to say. Now that you got the investment and you have plenty of experience behind you and already quite a good name, so what is your end goal, is my question. And basically what was asked in the chat is pretty much along the same lines.
Okay, so we have a long-term plan with our investors to they didn't expect something like this to grow in 1 year or 2. They are here for the long time, so I guess for us is also good to stick with them. But what we would like to do is still be the organization when it comes to organizing leagues, and not to be on the same level of competitiveness like, I don't know, EBL, A1 Adria League or stuff like this, but because you have nothing, and then you have A1 Adria League, Snow, Sweet Snow for Relog, EBL and leagues like this, and there is nothing in between. There is nothing that you as a player or anybody can do to start. How can a player become somebody if he can't compete in the low levels?
Low mid level.
Yeah, so we would like to be like an amateur to semi-pro level organizing, where players and teams establish themselves and then combine all of those talent to a bigger level. So let's say Tilt Proof League sends their best team to A1 Adria League, Esport Adria sends their best to the A1 Adria League, and to build a success story for a player or a team, to what what people call, you know, from zero to hero. We would like to be a number one, 0.5, you know, or at least some entry level for the teams and players, and you know, to see what other organizers do in the region, you know, to try to fill the gaps that they're missing, and you know, to build some ecosystem around our stuff, you know, to build some content, and maybe even do more leagues or organizations for leagues or events for other organizations. We got some stuff that we did with Esuba. We worked with Good Game from Croatia. We would like to maybe, when we don't have anything from our side, let's say there is a pause in A1 Adria League, we don't have any events on our side, then maybe our people can work on other events. So that's also a possibility. And in 10 years or 5 years, I would like to, you know, make a living out of it, because right now, I mean, I have a really good job, and and all of the money that we get, you know, we give it to put it into prize money. We pay people with it. We pay marketing stuff with it. So I would like to, maybe in 5 years, maybe it's doable, you know, to actually make the living out of this hobby that I do for the last, I don't know how many years.
So folks, take example from him. As a hobby, he raised an investment. He's running a team of 15 people. He has the biggest competition organizer in Adria region as a hobby.
Yeah. But it started taking its toll. So, you know,
I'm teasing you a little bit. Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. Tell me. So, if I try to break it down like into business perspective, so you still gonna be financing yourself, I mean, getting revenue from sponsorships for organizing events, and these events are targeted to this, let's say, market, this segment of 0 to 0.5 players, so amateur to mid-level players, and funding all this through content and viewership that is then delivered to the sponsors. So this is kind of the business model that you're still gonna seek, or
for
also
now,
being, yeah. Tell me.
yeah, for now, because we only have that kind of a business model now, because we don't have a product, you know, we don't have, let's say, some application for something. We don't have some, but we will we have some ideas that we started working on already one year before, but this COVID situation, you know, got us pretty well. But for now, I think at least until we figure everything out, it's gonna be like you said. But in the future, we would like to.
Go. Yeah, tell me.
In the future, we would like to, you know, try to have some product that we can then, like, I don't know, like Fire guys, you know, they have this overlays for stream, and that's actually a good thing, because they saw that somebody is missing, something is missing for all the organizers, and then they built this. So it's a great path.
You said, I will dare to correct you a little bit. You said you don't have a product. Okay, you might not have a digital product, but you do have a product. Your product is, you know, organizing a league for anyone who needs a league, or who is prepared to endorse a league and get the viewership there and the attention from that league. So that is kind of your expertise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I already mentioned before, we worked with possibly all of the Croatian organizers. When anybody did something with CS:GO, they would immediately, we were the go-to guys, So yeah, like Krampus said in the chat, it's a service, like an agency work to work for other companies, and we did some pretty good events for other people as well.
Yeah. You said you coming from a software engineering background, you have good odds of actually designing even some digital products, and going into that direction in the future.
Yeah, we started working on two of these digital products, but in the meantime we kind of lost our front-end developer for the website part. He switched companies to a German company, and now we are still trying to figure this out. But yeah, who knows, in the future we might do something like this.
Revive that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Going into, thank you for sharing the plans and the prospect of the future development. I already touched on this point before. You are organizing events. We said now, okay, an agency, it's a service that you offer. I could argue in some points, if you have a turnkey solution, it could be even a product if you sell the same thing multiple in the same way. But you decided to go for organizing stuff, not for coaching or building teams of players. Okay, it's another path. We usually, I mean, me and referees, we usually kind of split. The first split is, I want to be an esports team, in kind of sense. You're going to build a fan base and you're going to build your pro skills and you're going to rank high in competition, or you want to be the one actually organizing competitions. You went into the organizing sphere. You explained us your personal motivation at the very beginning, but during all these 10-15 years, probably it occurred to you, or you maybe had discussions of having your own teams. So I would guess, why yes, why not? You are mute, by the way. Muted.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I actually had some when we first talked with the investors. They were exploring their options because they are not from the industry. They come from the banking industry. They don't know anything from gaming side, which was at the start it was hard to bring everything closer to them, but later it became good because they were learning with us. They started doing something that they think that would be a good story, and they were already exploring some options if they want esports team. And the company where I work full time, called Locastic, they had their venture into an esports team. We had a CS:GO team. A friend of mine who is running the Esport Adria with me was their manager. He also works in the Locastic. So I had some experience and the knowledge about what happens behind the scenes on how to run an esports team. And we explained all the pros and cons to the investor about the team and about the organizational stuff, and they went forward to the organizational stuff. But yeah, while doing this Locastic esports journey, we learned a lot of stuff from how players, what do they think, and it was, from my point of view, it's hard to work with most of these people because they think that their value is much higher than that it actually is. So most of them, not most of them, but I would say some of them were humble enough, to also build this story for Locastic CSGO from the scratch. But some of the others were, I can play in this team. They will give me, I don't know, 500 euros, 600, 700 euros per month. And from that point of view, it's sometimes you can't meet their expectations. And then maybe they don't believe in the same goal. They don't have the same part in achieving this goal. And then it became hard. And from my side, I didn't have the nerves to do this, how to say. And since I was already doing this organizational stuff, it all blended in. And we just continued this path and abandoned CSGO team.
Skilled and experienced in this, and continue this.
Yeah, we also explored this as before when we were CS Adria. We wanted to have a team, but since there are not a lot of events in Croatia or in the region where you could compete, it wouldn't be fair for us to have a team which would then compete in our own league. So, this will always bring some questions. You fix the bracket.
It's conflict of interest.
So we didn't want to go down this path, to be in the conflict, and then we just decided
thanks for sharing. I completely agree with you, and I want to emphasize this also for the others that are listening. We often hear, organizations that start out that want to build everything: teams, events, content, influencers. It's cool to explore a little bit, but then you have to pick at one point and choose what you want to be, because some of these things are in conflict between themselves, like we just exposed now. And but what becomes the truth can be fundamentally different way how you need to run these things. Now, if you want to be an event organizer, you need to have a totally different set of skills and mindset than running a team, like we just heard Leonardo now. And think about this when you decide which path you want to go.
Yeah, I see a lot of organizations in Croatia now, at least 2 or 3, that have their own teams, and then they have influencers, they have some other content creators, and then they run tournaments, which, from my point of view, you can't be good at everything. You can't excel everything. I mean, you can try, I can probably try to be a full stack developer, but maybe I could learn for the next 5 years and become even better developer than I am right now. But it's, I chose my niche, in there, and same with the Esport Adria. We can explore other stuff and do 10 other stuff, but then we would never become what we became, because
if you spread out too much.
Yes.
I would, the time is running out. I still have plenty of questions, but I would rather ask the audience while to warm up with any questions for Leonardo. And while you warm up and think about the questions for him, just a quick, I like the analogy that you put now. So being from back-end developer and going to full stack developer, you can do that, but then you must be aware of who you're now competing with. And a full stack developer comes handy in a different type of companies, and is not handy in a specific type of companies, because they rather have niche front-end and back-end developers. And it's same here. If you want to be everything with your business, you need to find your spot under the sun. Not everyone can be everything, because then you have just too much competition out there.
Yeah, that's basically my thoughts exactly. We could do 10 of other stuff and we would be, maybe somebody would hear from us or something that we do, but we would never do stuff great, how to say.
We have a question in the chat. I will read it allowed. But Goran, in the meantime, I think you can, if you wish, turn your camera on and you can discuss with Leonardo, because it's a valid point. Goran is saying, what if a new model is happening? Let's say that you do tournaments and you have teams, but those teams don't compete on your own tournaments, but compete only on the tournaments from other organizations. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's still fine, I guess, if there is no conflict of interest there, but it's like you, Tom, already said, you need then a lot of different people. You need a team around the team, a coach, I don't know, a mental coach, a manager that would organize everything. And then you need a completely different set of people for organizing events. Maybe you can, combine people, and it will work for some time or for some use cases. But from my experience that I gathered, it's best to, if you see that some guy or girl is good at, doing graphics or maybe social media, then you let them learn and explore this, and you coach them into be a better at their jump. You can't, maybe you can have a graphic designer that's also a mental coach for a team, but it's it takes a toll for people to have their mindset in a few different roles.
Yeah, I agree. Be wary of how much overlap there is and how much there isn't. Right? If you have someone coaching a team, maybe they can also produce some content if it's about esports. If their second job is I don't know, driving cars or baking bread, there is not much overlap.
Yeah, I guess for in our use case, it was, we get some sometimes people just come and say, hey Leo, I would like to work something. And I say, okay, what would you like to work on? What's your skills? What are your skills? What's your knowledge? Oh, anything. And then it's very hard to work with somebody who's up to anything. So for us was always, to see what this person can do. Is it a commentator, a caster, an analyst? Is he good with numbers? Can he do some statistics? Is he, I don't know, good visual guy, and can he upgrade some of our assets and stuff like this? So it's, for us, it was always to coach people to be the best at what's their standard. If you put the goalkeeper in attack, then it's not gonna go well every time.
Yeah, and I completely second you on this. I'm always really happy to see people coming to us, passionate, enthusiastic, really motivated. I love that, and I praise that, and thank you for everyone who does this. But when people come and say just anything, it's actually an issue. It is, I'll say, I won't say an issue, but it's hard because it puts this challenge of finding out what you're good at on us instead of on yourself. You should have found out what you are good at and come to us saying, this one I'm the best, or like this one I'm really good. The other stuff I'm also fine doing. Anything, I'm fine with that. But I know that here I'm better. This would ease our work as managers, organizers, really a ton. Because then you have 10 people on board, really motivated, and for each one they already found out or decided or tested what they want to be or are good at, and you can put the puzzle together. Otherwise you have 10 people in queue that you have no clue where to put them and how to combine them.
Yeah. Goran said that we are talking about average player teams that don't need coaches and all the things around. Yeah, then I still stay with my original thought. Then it's okay to have this, but if you want to grow, then I guess you will have to at some point you will have to choose what's the most more important for you. Yeah. Also, one question for Krampus.
Yeah, go ahead.
From which games do you cover at Esport Adria? So it's I can't advertise, right?
You can. Of course you can.
Right now we are doing CS:GO is our main game. We do FIFA, we do Brawl Stars, we worked on League of Legends, and we work on Valorant. So we have a few projects that we run right now. One of them is called, on Croatian, it's Izazov. In English, it's called a challenge. And the goal is like to have these games like UFC. Let's say you have a few divisions, and then you over the month or over a few months you build. There is already one champion, and then other teams compete to challenge this champion, and then they fight for the money, and of course for a place to be the champion, and for some other teams to compete versus them. And we also have a championship for FIFA, which we do bi-weekly, I think. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We will have a lot of other games, because in this challenge we have like 3 games or 4 games that are usual ones, and then the 5th wild card game. I don't know, maybe next month they will be Fall Guys Esports, and we will like to organize Fall Guys Esports event, and we do this. So
nice. How many? You listed quite a few games. So how many leagues or events do you run in a year, or maybe you can say monthly? So is it 1, 2 per month?
For now, it's other than A1 Adria League, which is the whole year, or at least 7 months, 8 months in a year. We run 3 events right now on a monthly basis, let's say, except this challenge stuff is every weekend. So
4 times per month plus 3 ongoing. Yeah,
and
it's quite some activity.
Yeah. I mean, when we started before as Counter-Strike Croatia and CS Adria at the time, with the ESL, we created also weekly cups. I guess more than 100 cups at that time. And then when we parted ways with ESL, we started doing those on Faceit, and we did near 50 cups each week. So we are trying to do as much of the stuff every week. So if you're a Counter-Strike person and you gather with your friends on a weekend, you want to play some Counter-Strike, then okay, I can play Esport Adria tournament. It's there, it's gonna wait for us. It's just to be there for the teams to compete, to build themselves.
They can rely on that. They can count on it, they can plan on it.
That's right.
Yeah, great.
So it's quite challenging to have a lot of these people to work on different projects, but it's growing bigger and bigger, and our number of people that work with us grew with us. So it's I think 20 plus people now working with us.
Yeah, nice. We just got a good follow-up comment from Krampus. The cool fact is that actually an online community grew into a company.
Yeah, it's one of those, I would say, let's say a success story, how to from your hobby you build a company, and it's worth something. So yeah, I'm very grateful for the possibility that I could do it with the right people, and now that the investors saw that,
believe in
you. Yeah.
Any more questions from the audience? Otherwise, we'll slowly wrap up. But I'll go with one last brief question. Let's not be too long. We discussed a lot of stuff. We have two questions. Okay, what type of software are you using to organize and track all these tournaments? Actually, it's a really good question because you have a lot of stuff ongoing. You have the big league, the A1, throughout the whole year, or it's 7-8 months. You have this weekly, you have the monthly. How do you keep all this organized?
We use Active Collab, which is a collaboration web application. It's actually built by a Serbian company, I think. We have for each project and for, let's say, for website, for different stuff, we have a different project, and there we have teams that do on this, that do stuff on this, and then we put tasks for everybody, and then we see what has to be done, what was done before, and of course Google Sheets, which is the most important software that you need.
Friend number one.
Yeah. And yeah, also a lot of not meetups, the calls, we have calls almost, not almost, we have it every week, and we talk on a daily basis, at least the management part. And for the marketing guys, we use Figma. Figma is a tool for doing all of the graphics and stuff. So we have a designer that do some template or do some graphics, and then anybody from the management or from the social guys, from the content guys, can change stuff there, export stuff, and stuff like this. And yeah, of course, for content creation, for streams, we use OBS and Discord. Discord is the number one for us.
Yeah, Discord is for I guess for delivering the content and also managing and syncing and also managing the community, I guess.
Yes. We have actually we have a different Discord for a team and a different Discord for a public Discord
community.
Yeah, because it was very hard to put everything into one server. Now that we grew from one game to a lot of other games, you had to, have a lot of people in different roles. So we decided just to go with a new one for the team, and this way we just keep things separated so that notifications from the public Discord doesn't distract you on your private one. And
exactly. What about the marketing front in terms of delivering content? You rely on social, any plugins, any I don't know, Hootsuite, any kind of tools that help you?
I'm not really into marketing. I have a friend that's marketing manager in Locastic, and yeah, he was the one doing this. But I think they use Buffer for social networks, and I'm not sure about the others.
And when you report back about the viewership in this, you export the data directly from, I don't know, Twitch and Discord and this kind.
Yes, we export those to those Google Sheets and then
and then deliver back. Great. Great answer. Great, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, then I would love to ask you 1,000 more questions, but let's be conscious of time, and we'll repeat. There will still be opportunity. You won't run away.
Yeah, if Corona doesn't hit us too much in this next wave, we can maybe meet in Ljubljana or somewhere.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Really, yeah. Look, I will do a quick recap, but no, I'm really just one last point. I take 2 more minutes. One last point. You cross this path in 50 years or so. My personal opinion is that this is hardly replicable today. I think esports has grown so much more. The whole market so much more saturated. The maturity of the whole scene is on a completely different level, and the pace at which the world is moving is getting faster and faster. So for those of you who are starting today, the main, let's say, factors impacting success are still here. Leonardo emphasized quite many of them, but don't expect a timeline of 15 years. In today's market, in today's let's say fast-moving industry, my personal feeling would be divide this by 3. Okay, 5 years or even 3 years. You really need to be fast.
Yes, I agree with
this?
you there. Yeah, I agree that you know, as gaming and esports grow in our region, more and more people get involved in it, and it's much easier nowadays to, you know, get connected with somebody from, I don't know, Slovenia, from Serbia, from Hungary, from wherever, and it's a lot easier to get sponsors because they've already heard about there is something called, you know, esports. Some young people look at this, and you know, it's much more, I would say it's, like you said, 5 times easier now, or even five times. Yeah, you can expect to grow like in 2-3 years if you have a correct, you know, business plan to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say it's easier. It is faster, but it is more saturated. So you must think ahead with your business plan. If you get the right niche, you can grow faster, but getting the right niche is harder.
Yeah,
because many things are already out there. Great, thanks, Leo. This was a great finish for today's session. We went through the whole story, a big part of the story of formerly CS Adria. Before that was, how did you say?
Counter-Strike Croatia.
Counter-Strike Croatia, CS Adria, and now Esport Adria, and Leonardo shared with us quite many of the challenges they faced, either from an external point of view, issues getting revenue, or dealing with continued sponsorship support, from completely personal aspects of managing such organizations and not being able to sleep at night because you have to worry how these people get their salaries and how you'll be able to execute on the next event, in the future. But anyhow, the prospect is really bright. You are on the wings of financial stability now. It's up to you to deliver on that. But given from my private conversations with you and today's conversations, I'm really positive that you know how to drive this forward. And I'm really happy to see that you learned a lot of experience along the way, and that you're pretty clear and confident in where you want to drive this. Thanks once again, Leo. It was a great conversation, and really stop by for a drink or two when you come here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for everybody who joined us, and yeah, for sure, when I'm passing for Croatia, I will give it a stop.
Thanks. Thank you. The last point from my end. We have a new meetup coming. Our next meetup is coming tomorrow for League of Legends, on Friday for League of Legends. The next meetup on the Slovenia Esports and Gaming is coming in a month. We'll keep you posted. In the comments on YouTube and here in chat, you can see the links to subscribe to the meetup group, so you can follow and be notified when we have the next session, continuing with case studies. Here, I will invite Leonardo. We are just opening here in Ljubljana. Due to the epidemic, we still can't go fully public, but we are opening a co-working space. So for working purposes, for business meetings, for closed meetups, we can already gather, and are actually gathering people of this industry to work here together and build a community that is having these kind of discussions on a daily basis. So really, welcome to come visit us, and I will definitely, Leonardo, ping you for a couple of beers. Thank you, everyone. Again, see you in a month time.
Bye.